What's up, Dialysis Disciples? Just making sure we live over here. Let's go, let's go. Hey, what's up, Dialysis Disciples? Hope you're having a great day. Um, let's get into it. How many of you feel like you're doing everything right? You're eating right. You're coming to treatment on time. You're staying your full treatment, right? But for some reason, you're still exhausted. Who's there? Someone's in the chat, right? You're compliant. You're responsible. You show up. You follow all the instructions the doctors give you, and yet your energy's gone. Like, what's up with that? All right. If that's you, lean in tonight, because I'm gonna tell you something that most people have probably never told you about this dialysis machine, and it might change how you see fatigue completely. All right. So if you're here tonight live, put hashtag Team Live in the chat, and if you're here catching the replay, put hashtag Team Replay, so I can show you some love later. And if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, do all that YouTube stuff, right? And I want y'all to do something today too. If you're here live on Facebook, drop a heart in the comments if what I talked about felt personal for you, okay? So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Troy Sneed. I'm a 25 plus year, it might be going on 26 years in August, I think, dialysis patient, a 2-time kidney transplant recipient, and a 3-time cancer survivor. So I kind of know what I'm talking about with this stuff, right? And I'm the author of a gifted tome, The 40-Day Spiritual Fast for Dialysis Patients. And God didn't call me just to help you survive treatment, right? He called me to help you align so you can walk with energy and purpose and freedom while on dialysis. So tonight isn't about trying harder. It's not about more discipline, more willpower, or white knuckling your way through this dialysis thing. Tonight is about alignment, vertical alignment, right? Because when you're doing everything right and you're still tired, it's usually not because you're failing. It's because something or someone is missing. I'll let y'all sit on that for a second. And I want to say something carefully but truthfully, right? Many dialysis patients aren't, let me say this. Most of us are medically compliant, right? But some of us are spiritually disconnected, right? They're surviving with God, but they're not walking with God in this dialysis season. Who's with me? One's in the chat that makes sense to you, right? This is one of the most frustrating places to be in the dialysis journey, right? You look at your life and you say, I'm doing what they told me to do. I'm taking my meds. I'm making all my treatments and my appointments. I'm even watching what I eat. I even go to sleep on time. But yet I still crash after treatment. I lose entire days. You might wake up tired, go to bed tired, wake up tired, right? And your motivation and just your will to keep going is shrinking, right? And the most confusing part is when the dietitian comes over and gives you the labs, everything on there is right. So what's going on? So you start turning on yourself and you say, what am I doing wrong? Right? But here's the important thing, right? And here's what no one in the clinic ever explains to you, right? Medical compliance does not equal energy, right? I'm going to say it again. Medical compliance does not equal energy, right? Doctors are trained to keep you alive, and we thank them. Thank you, Doc, right? They manage your labs. They manage risk. Their job is to manage risk, right? But they're not called to help you discern God's will in this season. You hear me now, right? They're not, called to teach you about the rhythms of dialysis, right? They're not even designed to help you build your life outside of dialysis. They're not designed or called to help you with your calling and your purpose, right? Yeah, I know. They ain't go to school for that, right? So it's your responsibility, right? So because of that, you may not have ever connected the dots, but because of that, you're confused, right? About what's going on in your life and your own journey, right? You're doing everything right in your head, right? Right? But the scripture is clear, right? His strength is made, and your strength is made. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me slow down. Every time I get on here, I get excited to talk to you guys. But he says his strength is in your weakness, right? So when you're weak and tired, you go to him. So when I teach these types of things in other places, I don't really hit people upside the head with so much spirituality, right? But this is Dialysis Disciples Group. So if you're here, I'm pretty sure you want to hear the word from the Father with no cut, right? The word also says we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, right? So what does that mean? It means we have to rely on Him, right? A lot of times in my life, I notice when things don't make sense, it's spiritual warfare, right? So if you're doing everything right on dialysis and you're still tired, it's spiritual warfare, right? This is the way the enemy is attacking you. And listen, again, this is a faith-based group, so I'm gonna hit you with the real, right? Like sometimes when your effort isn't producing fruit, it's often not physical failure, right? It's spiritual misalignment, right? How many guys pray before you get on that machine? Get in the word before you get on that machine. I don't know. So let me say this plainly. Many dialysis patients are exhausted not because dialysis is too heavy, but because they're trying to force dialysis into their old life. What does that mean? It means instead of surrendering their life to the Father, right, to His design, His will, right, you try to squeeze dialysis and make it fit in your old life without His input, His will, right? You're fighting the season instead of stewarding it, right? So what does that mean? Like you may be ignoring the energy rhythms of dialysis. Like what are you doing before treatment? What you're doing during treatment? What are you doing after treatment? Right? You may be ignoring your spiritual rhythms. Rest, prayer, fasting. Yeah. You can fast on dialysis if you want to know how. DM me, right? And the dependence on Him. And I'm fasting right now, right? And when you resist that rhythm of rest and prayer and stillness and before and after and during treatment, right? That's where you leak energy, regardless of what your labs say. Who's with me? Y'all tracking, right? That's not weakness. It's misalignment, right? Y'all tracking. So think about 1 Kings 19, the story of Elijah. So Elijah just had a major battle. He was battling against all these false gods and magicians, and he called fire down from heaven, and God delivered, right? So, but Elijah, he's someone who obeyed God, right? He had just won this major spiritual victory. He did everything right. Think about it. He did everything right, trusted God, called for faith. But what happened? He collapsed from exhaustion, right? Read the story, 1 Kings 19. And even after that, he's like, God, I can't do this no more. How many of us have heard dialysis patients say that I can't do this no more, right? Elijah said, I can't do this no more, right? I had enough. Elijah wasn't sinful. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't faithless. He did everything right, but he was still exhausted. Who's with me? I know y'all tracking, right? But listen to what God did. He didn't say, come on, Elijah, push harder. You can do it. He didn't say, Elijah, be more positive. He didn't say, Elijah, we're going to get up and try this again. You know what he did? He restored him, right? He gave him sleep. He gave him food. He gave him strength, right? Then the direction came. So that's what I'm saying. So once you align with the Father, even though you're checking the box, doing dialysis right, you're stewarding that right, but you're leaving out the most important thing, and that's connecting with Him, right? Because God He's going to restore the energy, because once you're aligned, He's going to give you your assignment. Who's with me, right? And we talk about this on every other live, once you're walking in purpose and doing the assignment He called you to do, that's when He gives you the energy, right? So this story tells us that God's not disappointed in you. He just needs you to align, right? And I know a lot of us here on this live tonight, you may think you're aligned, and you're aligned more than most people, right? But what are your practices, guys? Are you going to them? Are you fasting? Are you getting on your knees and praying and showing that you're there? Are you taking communion? Are you doing these types of things? These are the types of things that put you in alignment, and these are the types of things that give you your energy, right? So let me ask you something. Let's say if you stop fighting the season and stop putting a square peg in a round hole, right? You stop forcing yourself into your old life, and you started really digging in and walking with God again. Yeah, what would you use that energy for, right? Would you use that energy for more purpose, more alignment, doing things that align with Him, right? Would you use it to give yourself more peace, right? So I want you to do something, guys. In the chat, type what you use your energy for, right? When you get infused with energy, you're doing everything with aligned with God's will. What are you going to use your energy for? Right? So you don't need more effort. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more information. Right? You need a system built for dialysis, not despite it. Right? You need some type of rhythm, a systematic rhythm that will restore energy based on alignment, based on your particular treatment days, your recovery windows, and be able to accept God's grace in this season, right? And when you finally understand this, that's when something shifts, right? You'll stop saying, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Because you'll know what you need to do, right? You'll start realizing that I've been trying to do this in my own strength, not His. And then that realization alone starts restoring your hope in your future and how you're going to walk out this dialysis journey, right? So family, what we talked about tonight is why so many dialysis patients stay tired and exhausted, right? You may be compliant, but you're not aligned. You're responsible, but you're resisting the dialysis rhythm. You're faithful, but you're carrying this season alone without inviting Him in, right? And when you do that long enough, that's when your energy drains. That's when your hope starts to shrink about what life could be like. And that feels real heavy. But here's the thing, it don't got to stay that way, right? Helping dialysis warriors regain energy and freedom through God's will and His assignment is what I do, right? I help you restore energy through proper systems and rhythms and help you to stop fighting, right? And not with pressure, not with hype, but with alignment and the systems and support. So if this message hits home for you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment help, right, below, or DM me the word help, right? If you're tired of being tired, if you're frustrated about being on this machine, if you're plagued with exhaustion, hear me, it doesn't have to be that way. You may think that that's just part of dialysis, but it's not, right? It's what God called me to do, to restore your alignment, so in turn, restore your energy, right? Think about it. Doctors, they manage your survival, but I manage your transformation. Doctors give you information, but I give you transformation through the powerful word of God, right? So if God stirred something in you tonight, you heard this message, guys, type help in the comments or DM me help. And here's what will happen. I'll reach out to you. We'll have a conversation about your journey, about what's specific to you. The doctors, they come in there, they check a box. Oh, I saw Joe today. I saw Tracy today. What's his blood pressure? What's his potassium? What's his weight? Okay, next. Right? No. What you need is someone that can help you walk this life. 25 years I've been walking it, guys. That's what God has called me to do, right? It's really simple. 4 letters, help, right? And we can start working towards your realignment and your energy, right? You're not tired because you're doing something wrong. You're tired because you've been doing this in your strength instead of his. So let's get aligned, right? Let's be dependent on him, right? And until next time, stay strong, dialysis disciples.